नमः श्री यतिराजाय विवेकानंद सूरये सच्चित् सुख स्वरूपाय स्वामिने तापहारिणे जननीं शारदां देवीं रामकृष्णं जगद्गुरुं पादपद्मे तयो श्रित्वा प्रणमामि मुहुर्मुहुः। Dear friends, I am extremely happy to meet you all, though not actually but virtually, after a span of about 6 years. The memories are still fresh in my mind. When last time I came in 2014, when I went to Silchar, there was a very good response and there was very good question answer session. Today also I would like to spend more time with the question answer session. In the beginning, I would like to speak a few words about the topic that has been given to me, youths maker of the nation. Really, the youths are the maker of the nation, and particularly Swami Vivekananda said that my faith is in the younger generation, the modern generation. Out of them will come my workers. They will work out the whole problem like lions. So Swami Vivekananda had that faith in the youth, and he wanted the youth to come forward for the building, national building. And if you remember, it is the youths of India who worked out the ideas of Swami Vivekananda. As all of you know, that when Swami Vivekananda returned to India after his historic speech in the World's Parliament for Religions held in Chicago in 1893, on 11 September 1893, he delivered his historic speech, as you know. That was also 9/11. But because we did not listen to his message of harmony of religions that was delivered there on that day, there was another 9/11 after 108 years exactly. In 2001, the Twin Towers were broken down, as you know, the World Trade Center in New York. Even today, there is ground zero. I recently visited USA and found that place is still ground zero. And those two buildings they were destroyed. They were destroyed because of the fanaticism and bigotry about which Swami Vivekananda had already cautioned in his speech in Chicago in 1893. Anyway, whatever it is, we did not listen to his message of harmony of religions on 9/11 in 1893. So there was another 9/11 in 2001. And even now, we have to be very careful that we don't repeat that mistake. And we must listen to the message of Swami Vivekananda of harmony of religions if we want world peace. Because we are talking about globalization, but globalization already has come on economic front. Because of the communication technology, the world has been united as never before. The whole world is one. It's a global village. But where is the global peace? Global peace cannot come till there is a global civilization. And global civilization cannot come till there is fanaticism, till there is bigotry, sectarism, all these horrible ideas are there, and persecutions in the name of religion is there. Till that time, the harmony of religions will not come. Till that time, a global civilization will not emerge. Until that time, the global peace will not come. So, for global peace, for world peace, we need to follow the message of Swami Vivekananda. And Swami Vivekananda had a great faith in the younger generation that they will work out his plans and programs. What were his plans and programs? Let us look at it. So when Swami Vivekananda returned after delivering his historic speech, he was so popular, very popular. So in all the newspapers, he was in front page. His photographs were in the front page. In the streets of Chicago, his photographs were displayed. And the most popular newspaper at the time, New York Herald, said the greatest figure undoubtedly in the World's Parliament of Religions is Swami Vivekananda. after listening to him, we feel how foolish on our part to send missionaries to India. Their religion is so great, rather we should invite missionaries from India. And with one speech, with only one address, Swami Vivekananda, he changed the whole scenario. Till that time, India was considered a backward country, uncivilized country, full of superstitions, full of serpent charmers, uneducated, poor, slave. Of course, it was a slave country. So it was a very, very negative image of India that was projected there in America. But when Swami Vivekananda spoke, the whole atmosphere changed and the whole impression about India changed. So he, as it were, started the conquest of the world by Indian spiritual culture. That was the first step. Sri Aurobindo says, then we could understand that India was not only to survive, but to conquer the whole world by its spiritual culture. This was demonstrated by Swami Vivekananda. And for 3.5 years more, he had to remain in USA, in America, and other Western countries for preaching the message of Vedanta, for giving the nectar of Vedanta, because they were suffering. Just as today the youths are suffering here in India and all other countries, at that time in America the people were suffering, and Swami Vivekananda gave the message, the elixir of Vedanta, the nectar of Vedanta to them. And he gave the message of the Shvetashvatara Upanishad, Shunvantu Vishve Amritasya Putra Aye Dhamani Divyani Tastu Vedahametam Purusham Mahantam Aditya Varnam Tamasa Parastat Tameva Viditvati Mritumeti Nanya Pantha Viditayanai. I have found the ancient one is beyond all miseries. By knowing him alone, you shall be free from all miseries. This is the message of Shvetashvatara Upanishad. And then Swami Vivekananda told the people there in America, dear sisters and brothers of America, I also want to call you by this sweet name. What is that? Amritasya Putra. Ye, the children of immortal bliss, holy and perfect beings. Ye, divinities on earth, sinners, it is a sin to call a man so. It is a standing liable on human nature. Come up, O lions, and shake off the delusion that you are sheep. Your souls immortal, spirits free, blessed and eternal. Ye are not matter, ye are not bodies. Matter is a servant, not he the servant of matter. This is the message that he gave, and that really gave a lot of peace of mind to the people. And he used to say, don't say that you are nothing. Don't feel dejected. You have got tremendous power within yourself. Each and every human being has got a center of consciousness having infinite power. It is because we have forgotten our true nature that we are suffering. We have problems are plenty, but there are melodies also are there, and their remedies also are there. And the most important remedy is remembering our true divine nature. We have got infinite power, and that with that power we can overcome all the problems. And so Swami Vivekananda used to narrate the beautiful story of the lion and the sheep, how a lioness was going along the forest, and then she had to cross a flock of sheep which was going there in the forest. In order to cross that flock of sheep, the lioness jumped. And when it jumped, it was because it was pregnant, it gave birth to a small cub, lion cub. And that lion cub fell into the group of the flock of sheep. And the lioness went to the other side and then became unconscious and died. Why? Because it had given birth, it was pregnant and it had given birth to the small lion cub. Now this small lion cub started weeping because it had lost its mother. So the mother of the sheep started taking care of that small lion cub. And then this small lion cub started along with the sheep, eating grass like the sheep, playing with the sheep, and bleating like sheep, bang, bang, and started growing. After some time, a big lion came to that forest. And that lion saw at a great distance a flock of sheep going, and all the sheep are bleating, bah, bah, bah. And it was surprised to see a small lion cub also going along with the flock of sheep and also bleating like sheep. Well, it had never seen a lion bleating like sheep. So it came nearer in order to know what it is all about. And after seeing the big lion, the sheep, they started running out of fear. Bah, 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 bah. They started running. And this small lion cub also started running. Bah, bah, bah. This big lion caught hold of the small lion. Hey, where are you going? These sheep, they are afraid of me because they are sheep. I'm lion. But you are like a lion like me. Why are you afraid? The small lions say, bah, bah, bah. I'm not lion. I'm sheep. You fool. You are a lion and still you are saying sheep. You are lion. You are not sheep. But the small lion became so much afraid of this big lion, started weeping and again bleating, bah, bah, bah. No, no, no. I am not lion. I'm sheep. Now this big lion became very much annoyed, caught hold of the small lion, dragged it near a pond, and told the small lion, look into your reflection in the water. Look at your reflection, look at my reflection. Your face resembles of that of mine or that of the sheep. And when this small lion, when it looked into the reflection, oh my God, we could understand, yes, I'm looking like this big sheep, big lion, yes. So now you're lion, not sheep. Now roar like me. And he started roaring. Now come to the forest. You are the king of the forest. And then it went away. Swami Vivekananda used to say, this small lion was already a lion. Not that it became new. It was already lion. But what happened? It had forgotten that it was a lion. So Swami Vivekananda says, same is the story. We are already lions. We are already divine. But we have forgotten our divinity. And that is why we feel miserable. And that is why we feel we cannot do, we are miserable, we are weak, we cannot do this, we cannot do that. All these wigglings of thoughts come to us and we feel miserable and we lose our self-confidence. Why? Because we have forgotten our true nature. So let us remember our true nature. So Swami Vivekananda says, come up, O lions, and shake off the delusion that you are sheep. Your soul's immortal, spirit's free, blessed and eternal. You are not matter, you are not bodies. Matter is a servant, not he the servant of matter. So this message was given by Swami Vivekananda, the message of divinity. This message is still very, very relevant and very important for the modern youth of India today, when they have lost their self-confidence, when they are not able to go forward because of the lack of confidence. It is at this stage they need this message of Swami Vivekananda delivered by Swami Vivekananda in America in 1893. Anyway, we'll come to that message later on, how to manifest the divinity. Yes, we are all divine, but we have forgotten our true nature. How to remember it, our true nature? How to get back to that divinity? How to manifest that divinity, which is the goal of human life. Now, this we will come to in the later stage. First of all, now, let us go back to the time when Swami Vivekananda returned to India. So when Swami Vivekananda returned to India in 1897, he was given a warm welcome like that of a hero who had conquered the world. Like a hero, he was welcomed everywhere. And in response to the great welcome, the warm welcome that was given to him, he delivered very, very powerful speeches, fiery speeches, all these speeches, and wherever he went, first he landed in Sri Lanka, in Ceylon, in Colombo. You know that Colombo, Sri Lanka at that time was a part of India. Pakistan was not there. That Pakistan became in 1947. So all these countries, they were all a part of India before that. It was undivided India. So Swami Vivekananda landed in Colombo, which was a part of India. From Colombo, he went to Rameshwaram, Ramnath, Chennai, that is Madras at the time, and from there on to Calcutta, now Kolkata, that time Calcutta. And then he traveled like this, and his last leg of his journey was Almora. So all these places, he gave very fiery speeches, very powerful speeches, and all these listeners were, most of them were youth at that time. And these speeches have been collected and have been published in the form of a book. The name of the book is Lectures from Colombo to Almora. Powerful speeches. And in those speeches, Swami Vivekananda has given a clarion call where he said, "Arise, awake, and stop not till the goal is reached." This is the message he gave everywhere, and the whole country got awakened. We were, as it were, sleepy. We were sleeping. There was the sleep of ignorance for hundreds of years of slavery we had undergone. And so Swami Vivekananda aroused the whole nation by his thundering voice, "Arise, awake, arise, awake," and the whole country got awakened. Then, because of the speeches that he gave at that time, these youths, they got very much enthused. They became very energetic, and they started thinking about the nation. Afterwards, many youngsters, they read these books. The French servant Romarola said, "Read all this lecture, go in vain?" No. It provided the platform to the revolutionaries and to the patriots and to the people later on. So Swami Vivekananda at that time had told them how to bring about the revolution, how to bring about the reformation, how to rebuild the whole nation. That's what he told them. That is what he told them. Now, we have to remember his message. He had given the message there, and then he had given the platform to the youth to work out the problems like lions. And some youths came forward. Gradually, many more youths came forward after listening to not after listening, but after reading the books of Swami Vivekananda. And just now you heard how many revolutionaries they came forward. So Romarola says that though India became independent in 1947, before that, 1857 was the first revolution, the first movement, but that failed due to various reasons. But if any other movement that has gone to the freedom of India, contributing to the freedom of India, that is the movement of 1905. In 1905, Bang Bhang Andolan, that is when there was partition of India, and when there was the efforts of the British government to break Bengal, and this Bang Bang, that time the movement arose of the youths. All these youths were all fired. They were inspired by the teachings of Swami Vivekananda. So the intelligence department wrote to the British government that the books of Swami Vivekananda are very dangerous, and particularly the book Patravali, the letters of Swami Vivekananda, should be banned. Because when we go to the houses of the revolutionaries, sometimes we find bombs, sometimes we do not find bombs. But two bombs are always found. One is a book of Bhagavad Gita, another the book of Swami Vivekananda. So books of Swami Vivekananda are very dangerous. So a ban should be put on the books of Swami Vivekananda. The books of Swami Vivekananda should be proscribed. That is what the suggestion was given by the intelligence department to the British government. So you can just imagine what an impact was produced by the teachings and by the books of Swami Vivekananda. At that time, one boy who was studying in 9th standard in Cuttack High School, he came across a book of Swami Vivekananda, and he was so much inspired that he decided to sacrifice his whole life for the sake of the nation. Do you know the name of that boy? His name is Netaji Subhash Chandra Bose. So Netaji Subhash Chandra Bose, he said that had Swami Vivekananda been alive, I would have been at his feet. He derived that inspiration of loving the country and working for the country and sacrificing for the country from the book of Swami Vivekananda. Mahatma Gandhi, when he came to Belumat in 1921 on 30th January, along with Motilal Nehru and others, and then all of the people said, Gandhiji, please give lectures. Gandhi said, no, I have not come here to give lectures. I have come here to pay my homage to Swami Vivekananda. And then he said, he told all the youths present there, I will request all the youths present here not to go empty-handed after coming to this great place. Take some of the inspiration in your heart from this place. And then he said, read the books of Swami Vivekananda. I myself gone through the books of Swami Vivekananda. And after reading the books of Swami Vivekananda, the love that I had for my country became 1,000-fold. This is what Mahatma Gandhi said. My love for the country became 1,000-fold after reading the books of Swami Vivekananda. All our revolutionaries, all our patriots, all our national leaders, they all derived their inspiration from the books of Swami Vivekananda. Mahatma Gandhi, Netaji Subhash Chandra Bose, Pandit Jawaharlal Nehru, Chakravarti Rajagopalacharya, Sri Aurobindo, Dr. Radhakrishnan, all of them. Dr. Radhakrishnan used to say that when we used to write letters to our friends, we used to quote the letters of Swami Vivekananda in our letters. Why? Because, as I told you, the British government was suspicious of the people who would read the books of Swami Vivekananda. Maybe they would turn out to be revolutionaries. So, they would be seen with suspicion, any person reading the book of Swami Vivekananda. So, Dr. Radhakrishnan says, because at that time it was considered dangerous to exchange books of Swami Vivekananda, so what we used to do, we used to quote all the letters of Swami Vivekananda in our letters written to our friends. This is how we used to exchange the ideas of Swami Vivekananda. So this is how all the revolutionaries, they contributed to the freedom movement starting from 1905, and then, as you know, the non-cooperation movement came, and the Azad Hind Fauj was started by Subhash Chandra Bose. With all that, in 1947, we achieved independence. So all these youths, they derived their inspiration from the books of Swami Vivekananda, and then they brought freedom of the nation. But what happened after 1947? After that, we forgot the message of Swami Vivekananda of loving our country and working for our nation. We all became self-centered. मैं, मेरी बीवी, मेरा बच्चा, मेरा मकान, देश जाए भाड़ में. I go to so many places talking to the youths and I ask them, अच्छा भैया, तुम्हारी जीवन का लक्ष्य क्या है? What is the purpose of your life? जीवन लक्ष्य क्या है? बस कैरियर डेवलप करूंगा. फिर बस पैसा आएगा, कैरियर डेवलप करता पैसा आएगा. फिर बस तो मजा ही. अरे देश का क्या होगा? अरे देश जाए भाड़ में. हम तो अपना कैरियर डेवलप करेंगे. समाज का क्या होगा, समाज जाए भाड़ में, हम तो अपना कैरियर डेवलप करेंगे। फिर मैं उनको बोलता, अच्छा भाई सुनो, तुम्हारा समाज भाड़ में जाएगा, तुम्हारा देश भाड़ में जाएगा, तुम कहां जाओगे? तुम भी भाड़ में जाओगे, इतना तो सोचो, कॉमन सेंस तो लगाओ। एनीवे, दिस इज व्हाट इज हैपनिंग. We have become so self-centered. We are only talking about career development, but we are not talking about character development. We are not talking about national development. This is the greatest tragedy that has come to our nation. Swami Vivekananda said, arise, awake and stop not till the goal is reached. स्वामी विवेकानंद ने कहा था, उठो जागो और लक्ष्य प्राप्ति तक रुको मत। हम लोगों ने क्या किया, उठे जागे और फिर सो गए स्वाधीनता के बाद। स्वामी विवेकानंद did not say arise, awake and go to sleep, but what we did, we got aroused, we got awakened, achieved independence, and then we went to sleep. No, he did not say arise, awake and go to sleep. What did he say? Arise, awake and stop not till the goal is reached. And political independence of India was not the goal of Swami Vivekananda. He wanted independence, surely. He said liberty is the first condition of growth, but he said political independence of India is not enough. So what is the goal that he placed? What is the goal he placed? In his lecture in Chennai, in Madras in 1897, he said, in my plan of campaign, he said, India shall conquer the whole world by spiritual culture. India shall conquer the whole world by spiritual culture. Swami, he said, I want nothing less than that, conquest of the whole world by Indian spiritual culture. What did he mean? It was not by atom bomb, not by nuclear power. What he wanted was Indian spiritual culture to be permeated all over the world, because Indian spiritual culture talks about world peace. Indian spiritual culture talks about non-violence. Indian spiritual culture talks about universal brotherhood. These are the values that are needed by the whole world. So what he meant by conquest of the world by Indian spiritual culture is spreading the ideas of non-violence and world peace and universal brotherhood. This is what he wants. This is still far off. And before we achieve that conquest of the whole world by Indian spiritual culture, India must rise. India must become a developed country. Then only we can become Jagat Guru. Otherwise they will say, oh, you yourself are not still a developing country. How dare you teach us? We are developed countries. So first of all, we have to become developed countries. In making India a developed country, Dr. Kalam says in his book, India 2020, Vision of the New Millennium, he says, all the youths will have to take part in a very proactive way. The youths must have the dream of serving the nation, of giving up their selfishness and having a larger dreams of serving the society, making sacrifice if necessary. Dying for the country is very great, and living for the country is also equally great, if not greater. So living for the nation, living not only for yourself, not only career development, but also character development and the national development. These are the values that must come to the world, to each and every young man and woman in the present scenario. Then only we can conquer the world. Then only we can fulfill the dream of Swami Vivekananda of that world peace, of that Indian spiritual culture permeating the whole world. Before that, we must become a developed country. Now, how to reconstruct? How to bring about the reconstruction of the nation? So Swami Vivekananda's rule must be remembered, that national reconstruction cannot take place. National building cannot take place without the character building of the citizens. National building cannot take place without the character building of the citizens. I remember on 12th January, as you know, 12th January is celebrated as National Youth Day. because it is the birthday of Swami Vivekananda. And so on 12th January, National Youth Day, we had invited Dr. APJ Abdul Kalam on 12th January 2006. We had invited him to Porbandar to inaugurate Vivekananda Institute of Value, Education and Culture. He did come, and then he kept his promise and he had told, and then he first of all narrated how Swami Vivekananda is a great person. Today is the birthday of Swami Vivekananda. He was not only a great person of our country, but for a great person of the whole globe. And then first he said how Swami Vivekananda inspired Jamshedji Tata to start Indian Institute of Science when they're traveling together in the same ship from Japan to Chicago. All this is he told. And then he replied to the questions of the youths. And one of the a young person stood up and said, asked the question, "Sir, Operation Duryodhan, Operation Chakravyuh, and other operations have revealed the tip of the iceberg that is rampant corruption in the country today. As the President of India, how do you feel about it? And where do you think lies the solution?" So Dr. Kalam stood up and said, "You see, the Parliament has already taken some action on those people who were taking bribes." And then he said, then he took up a book of Swami Vivekananda and started reading from that book, in which Swami Vivekananda says, no number of Parliament acts can make a nation good, can make a nation great. Then what can make a nation good and what can make a nation great? Again, he read out from the book of Swami Vivekananda. Only a large number of good enlightened citizens can make a nation good, can make a nation great. Only a large number of good enlightened citizens, good people can make a nation good, can make a nation great. And then he added, and the government cannot produce good people, and the government will not produce good people. That also he said. Then who can make these great people? Who can make these great citizens? Who can make enlightened citizens? Then he said, only three persons can do it. Who are the three persons? Father, mother, and the teacher. These people can do it. And that is where the education policy comes into picture. I'm very happy that the new education policy has come. I hope that is implemented. Earlier also so many commissions were held, the Kothari Commission, Dr. Radhakrishnan Commission, and they had given their reports, but they were never implemented. I hope this new education policy where values have been given some values in this new education policy, and some of the things have been given. I hope they are implemented. But this character building, personality development, the soft skills are very important. Only hardware is not enough. Only the skills are not enough. But soft skills, the real software, that is the personality development, that will make up. So character building, what Swami Vivekananda, words of Swami Vivekananda, without character building, there cannot be national building. This we have to remember. There was a naughty boy. I'll tell the story. There was a naughty boy. He was very naughty. He would not keep any time. वो चुपचाप रहता ही नहीं था. फिर उसके पिताजी तो बहुत परेशान हो गए. बोला, ए इधर आ, देख आज मेरे को बहुत काम करना, मैं तुमको एक काम देता हूँ और जब तक काम खत्म नहीं होगा वापस मत आना, ठीक है? हाँ ठीक है. अब पिताजी ने सोचा मैं क्या काम दूं जिससे ये भी बिजी रहे, मैं भी अपना काम करता रहूं. हाँ, उन्होंने क्या किया, भारत का नक्शा लिया, मैप ऑफ इंडिया, छोटा सा टुकड़ा किया. जाओ, तो बोले भारत का नक्शा ठीक करके आओ, जाओ पास के कमरे में. उसको मालूम था इसको ज्योग्राफी का नॉलेज है नहीं, कहाँ काश्मीर, कहाँ कन्याकुमारी, कहाँ गुजरात, कहाँ महाराष्ट्र, कहाँ आसाम, कहाँ सिलचर, हाँ, राजकोट ये सब मिलते मिलते वो सब करते करते सारा दिन भी चला जाएगा, मैं भी अपना काम कर सकूंगा। भेज दिया बच्चे को, 5 मिनट में बच्चा वापस आया। ए, तेरे को बोला था ना काम करके वापस आना, बोला हाँ काम किया है। देखो, देखा परफेक्ट नक्शा भारत का, हाँ एवरीथिंग, कश्मीर, कन्याकुमारी, आसाम, गुजरात, सिलचर, राजकोट सब अपने अपनी जगह पर है। कैसे किया? ये तो सरल काम है। अरे पूरे भारत को एक बनाना सरल काम है तो कितना कठिन है। नेशनल इंटीग्रेशन सच ए बिग प्रॉब्लम। भारत को एक बनाना, राष्ट्रीय एकता कितनी बड़ी समस्या है। पूरे भारत को एक बनाना कितनी समस्या है, तूने कैसे किया? तब लड़के ने जवाब दिया, पिताजी मैंने वो टुकड़े तो ले लिए और मैं जोड़ने लग गया, पर मुझे तो कुछ समझ में नहीं आया कि इतना सारा क्या है, छोटे छोटे टुकड़े समझ में नहीं आ रहा था। तो मैं छोटे टुकड़ों के साथ खेलने लग गया। खेलते खेलने मैंने देखा, मैंने पीछे में मनुष्य की छवि है, तो मैंने मनुष्य के हाथ पैर सिर सब जोड़ा, जोड़ करके उल्टा किया तो सारा देश अपने आप ठीक हो गया। तो मनुष्य को ठीक करो, देश अपने आप ठीक हो जाएगा। मनुष्य का चरित्र निर्माण करो, राष्ट्र का पुनर्निर्माण अपने आप हो जाएगा। Have the character building of the citizens, the national building will take place automatically. So if you want to have rebuilding of the nation, you must have character building of the citizens. This is most important. So the modern generation, modern youth must remember career development is a must, but along with that, there should be also character development if we want national development. And this character development, what does it mean? We must have total personality development. What is total personality development? Physical development of the personality, intellectual development of the personality, mental development of the personality, moral development of the personality, and spiritual development of the personality. All the 5 should be there. And all these 5, how it will come? By the development IQ, EQ, and SQ. What is IQ? Intelligence quotient. What is EQ? Emotional quotient. What is SQ? Spiritual quotient. Dana Zohar, she is a professor in Oxford University. She has written a book. The name of the book is SQ, Spiritual Intelligence, Ultimate Intelligence, where she says neurologically, physiologically, biologically, psychologically, from every point of view, there is a concluding evidence. There is something called SQ, which is the basis of both IQ and EQ. What is IQ? IQ will tell you how to play the game of life. What is EQ? EQ will tell you how to play the game of life under changed circumstances with changed strategies. And what is SQ? SQ will tell you whether to play the game of life at all or not. Well, that's your choice. So, this development of IQ, EQ, SQ, that will give you total integrated personality, and for which 5 virtues are necessary. This will make you total personality development. What are the 5 virtues? Self-confidence, self-reliance, self-knowledge, self-control, and self-sacrifice. First is self-confidence. Swami Vivekananda said, the old religion said he is an atheist who does not believe in himself. But the new religion says he is an atheist who does not believe in himself. First, believe in yourself. And he also says, if you have faith in 330 millions of gods and goddesses, and all the other gods and goddesses you are imported recently from the foreign countries. But if you do not have faith in yourself, you are an atheist. First, have faith in yourself. So this self-confidence is a must. Second is self-reliance. You must depend upon yourself. You are the creator of your own destiny. Yesterday you must heard this topic. You are the creator of your own destiny. तुम स्वयं अपने भाग्य की निर्माता हो. Don't go to an astrologer. Please देखो तो मेरे भाग्य में क्या है. No. भाग्य को जानने का प्रयत्न मत करो. भाग्य को बदलने का प्रयत्न. Don't try to know the destiny. Try to change the destiny of life. That is a young man. A young man knows, has got the confidence. Yes. Whatever I am is because of my past karmas. What does it prove? Whatever I will be in future is because of my present karmas. So I will change my future destiny by my hard work and smart work. That is the young man. That is how the youngsters have to go forward. So self-confidence, self-reliance, then self-knowledge. How it will come? By self-knowledge. When you know that you've got infinite power. Like the story of the lion and the sheep. I am lion, I am not the sheep. This is my true nature. I've got infinite power within myself. But how to manifest that power? How to remove that ignorance? How to remove that screen of ignorance? 4 methods are there. Swami Vivekananda says each soul is potentially divine. The goal of human life is to manifest this divinity within by controlling nature external and internal. It is either by work or worship or self-control or philosophy, by one or more or all of this, and be free. This is the whole of religion. Doctrines, dogmas, rituals, temples, churches, mosques are but secondary details. So that is the goal of life, the real purpose of life. What is that real purpose of life? Manifest the divinity. That will give you infinite power. How to manifest the divinity? By controlling nature, external and internal, both the natures. How that will come? By 4 yogas: Raj Yoga, meditation; Bhakti Yoga, prayer; Jnana Yoga, inspirational reading; Karma Yoga, unselfish service. Combine all the 4 yogas. Try to practice these 4 yogas in daily life, and gradually you will be able to manifest that divinity. So that is total personality development. That is self-knowledge. Then self-control. Swami Vivekananda says the secret of success is concentration of mind. Ralph Waldo Emerson, he was a great American thinker. He said the secret of success in trade, in war, in every management of human affairs is the concentration of mind. So, and Swami Vivekananda also said, if I had to do my education over again, I will not undergo the present system of education. First, I will learn how to control my mind, how to concentrate my mind. Information I can have at my own will, at my own wish. So first is that concentration of mind. And how that concentration will come? C is direct proportional to P, where C is equal to concentration of mind and P is equal to purity of mind. Purer the mind, the greater is the concentration of mind. How the purity will come? That is by pure food, pure intake, but pure food not only through mouth but through ears and through eyes. And so when we are able to control our senses, when we control our senses, when we have control over the gadgets, when we have control over what type of material is coming through internet, when we have control over the video games, when we have control over the internet cheating, chatting, then gradually more and more concentration will come. Purity will come, and purity will give us a concentration of mind. So let all that pure food come through our senses, ears, eyes, and mouth. And let us not take impure food. That will give you more and more purity, and that will give you the concentration of mind. That will give you the control of mind. So self-control will give you success in every sphere of life. And 5th thing is self-sacrifice. Self-sacrifice does not mean that all of you should become monks and nuns. Of course, we want more monks and nuns. Monks can come to Ramakrishna Mission. We want more and more because 1,000 centers are waiting for affiliation. Do you know? We have 220 branches of Ramakrishna Math and Mission spread all over the world. Started by Swami Vivekananda 120 years back with the headquarters at Bellu Math. We want more monks. There are only 220 centers that we have got affiliated. 1,000 centers waiting for affiliation because we have shortage of monks. So we want more monks, but everybody cannot become monk. Everybody do not become monk. But those who want, they can become. And then similarly, there is Sarada Math for the girls. They also, the girls are required for, they are also branches all over the world. And so they require also more girls to join us. There is nuns, but all cannot become nuns, all need not become nuns, all cannot become nuns. So then what we meant by then self-sacrifice. Self-sacrifice does not mean that giving up your family and then what is that? Giving up your uniform dress? No. What does it mean? Sacrifice of your ego. Sacrifice of your selfishness. And so Swami Vivekananda wrote a very inspiring letter to the Maharaja of Mysore. My dear prince, this life is short. The vanities of this world are transient. In this short life, they alone live, who live for others. The rest are more dead than alive. Yes, you see all around dead people. All dead people in the whole nation. मैं, मेरी बीवी, मेरा बच्चा, मेरा मकान, देश जाए भाड़ में. All are self-centered. Nobody thinking of the nation. Nobody thinking of the society. Nobody thinking about others. बस मैं ठीक रहूं. अभी भी even coronavirus also. बस if I am safe, it's okay also. let them all go to hell, let them all die. I don't mind. I am safe. Chacha apna pran bacha. Bas sabko yehi formula. Let us save ourselves. Let others go to dogs. This selfishness. We are all dead people. Swami Vivekananda says that those who think about others, they are living people. Others are dead people. Now most of the people are dead people. Now we have to awaken these dead people. How to awaken? Electric shock. How this electric shock will come? That will come from the books of Swami Vivekananda. These are not my words. French savant Romarola. He wanted to know about India and he was a Nobel Prize winner. Another Nobel Prize winner, Rabindranath Tagore, he wrote to Romarola, if you want to know India, study Vivekananda. In him, everything is positive and nothing negative. And when Romarola read the books of Swami Vivekananda, he was so enamored. He wrote himself the biography of Romarola on Swami Vivekananda. And then what he said about the books, about the words of Swami Vivekananda, what did he say? He said, his words are great music, phrases in the style of Beethoven. I cannot touch these sayings of his scattered as they are through the pages at a 30 years distance without receiving a thrill through my body like an electric shock. So that electric shock will come from the words of Swami Vivekananda, from the books of Swami Vivekananda. And that is what I want. Let these books go far and wide. And wherever I go for any youth convention, as you know, in 2014, I came to Silchar. That time also, I distributed some books to the youth. Wherever I go, I try to carry with me some books. Today, I will also tell, try to get hold of those books. Now, fortunately, more and more books are coming on the internet. From the internet also, you can download. So many books are available now. Please read the books of Swami Vivekananda. These are very much necessary to bring life to these dead people who are all self-centered. So, the books of Swami Vivekananda will be like electric shock. So I especially will request the youngsters. You know, all of you have got mobiles, I know. And so what do you do? If you do not charge the mobiles, then you can't have internet, getting, nothing can happen. Both going together nowadays. So what you should do, you should recharge the battery of the mobile. That you are already doing, I know. But now I'm telling, what about recharging the mental battery? That also has to be recharged. Today, of course, you are all charged up. But what will happen? Again, the same thing will happen. You go to sleep. So you have to remember now and then. Awake, arise, awake, and stop not till the glory reach. You have to remember again and again. And for that, you have to read the books of Swami Vivekananda. The electric shock must come. So what I would advise at night when you are putting the plug into the socket, okay, of the mobile, at that time, so your mobile battery will get electric shock, electric energy, and it will get charged up. By the time that mobile battery will charge up, what you do, you take the book of Swami Vivekananda, start reading. By the time the mobile battery is charged, your brain also, your mind also get recharged. Mental battery also get recharged by the books of Swami Vivekananda. This is the method I will suggest, and I will request my young friends, please take up the books of Swami Vivekananda, read the books of Swami Vivekananda, particularly those, if you want to do something for the nation, take up the book, Lectures from Colombo to Almora. And the same book has come in a new form, My India, the India Eternal. I gifted that book to Dr. APJ Abdul Kalam. I said, all the ideas that you are now speaking are already there. You will be surprised. Actually, you are only unconsciously taking the message of Swami Vivekananda to the youth. You will find all these ideas that you are now giving are already available in the book. That is, the name of the book is My India, the India Eternal. My India, the India Eternal, based on the life or on the book Lectures from Colombo to Almora. Then read the letters of Swami Vivekananda. Very powerful letters. Very powerful. One of the letters Swami Vivekananda says, so far you had heard the mantras, Matru Devo Bhava, Pitru Devo Bhava, Acharya Devo Bhava, Atiti Devo Bhava. I'm giving you some additional mantras which are very, very important nowadays. And what are the mantras? Daridra Devo Bhava, Rogi Devo Bhava. Worship the God who is present in the poor people. Worship the God who is present in the sick people. So this particular worship of the Daridra Narayana, worship of the God, living God, that is what Swami Vivekananda said. All these very inspiring ideas in the letters of Swami Vivekananda. So read the letters of Swami Vivekananda, read the conversations of Swami Vivekananda, read the 4 yogas, Raj Yoga, Bhakti Yoga, Jnana Yoga and Karma Yoga, and read By India, the India Eternal, and 2 small books I'll recommend. One is the Swami Vivekananda, The Friend of All. Very beautiful book, small book. You know, you like small books, I know. So small book, but very interesting episodes, very interesting incidents are given there in the book, Friend of All, and still smaller book. That is, the name of the book is Thoughts of Power. Small book containing the powerful thoughts of Swami Vivekananda. In one of the words says, if you find one word coming like a bomb from the Upanishads, it is the one word Abhi, be fearless, be fearless, be fearless. And this one sentence that I quoted to you is also from that book, Thoughts of Power. Come up, alliance, and shake off the delusion that you are sheep. Your soul's immortal, spirit's free, blessed and eternal. You're not matter, you're not bodies. Matter is a servant, not he the servant of matter. All these ideas are there. Read the books, Friend of All, Thoughts of Power, Letters of Swami Vivekananda, and Mind as India Eternal. At least some books, and these 4 yogas, Raj Yoga, Bhakti Yoga, Jnana Yoga and Karma Yoga. I can promise you, I really promise you, once you read these books, there will be tremendous transformation. Whole personality will be transformed. Character building surely will take place. Of course, we'll have to practice after reading this, and that will also automatically come. And then when you practice these small virtues that are given in these books, there will be character development. This character development will surely take to the national development. So character development, that was the message of Swami Vivekananda. Character development giving rise to national development giving rise to world development. That was his dream. And all the youngsters have to fulfill this dream. Swami Vivekananda said, my faith is the younger generation. The earlier youths, they fulfilled the first dream of Swami Vivekananda. What was that? Independence of India. Now the youths will have to come forward to fulfill the second dream of Swami Vivekananda. What was that? Conquest of the whole world by spiritual culture. That is still remaining. So again, let us remember the call given by Swami Vivekananda. Arise, awake, and stop not till the goal is reached. Thank you very much.
Pranam Maharaj Ji, listening to you is always a great learning experience, and today was not an exception to it. Your lecture has kept all the participants engrossed, and this is evident from the plethora of questions that have been put up in the chat box. So with your due permission, we would like to take the questions one by one in the question and answer session. So the first question is from Vasundhara Pal Chaudhary. She asks, respected Maharaj Ji, how can the humans be made aware to think for the nation, for its people, as nowadays people are too busy in their own life? Those who don't think for the society, who don't feel for the poor and the underprivileged, how can the awareness be spread so that they don't live a selfish life just thinking for themselves, but help in serving people so that the country can be made a better place?
Very good question. You know, the idea that is given, the question is very good. How the youth will come forward, unless until they develop love for the nation, that will not happen. How the love for the nation will come? You know, once Miss MacLeod came to Swami Vivekananda and asked him, Swami, how can I serve you? Do you know what Swami Vivekananda replied? He said, love India. That is the greatest service that you will be doing to me. So to the youngsters also today, Swami Vivekananda would say, if you really want to serve me, love India. That's enough. Once you love India, everything else will follow. What does it mean? Love India means love the people of India, love the poor people of India, love all the downtrodden people of India. And when you feel for them, when you love them, naturally you want to sacrifice your life for that. Naturally you want to work for that. Naturally you want to remove the sufferings of the people. All these ideas will come once you start loving our nation. Once you start loving the people of the nation. Once you start loving the culture of the nation. We have got ancient culture. How great was India? Just study the history. The great history of India. India was called Sone ki Chidiya. It was great in every respect. Unless and until you study the history, you will not develop love for India. Read the books of Sister Nivedita. Sister Nivedita, how did she develop so much love for India? How did this MacLeod develop love for India? When they started reading, when they started coming in contact with Swami Vivekananda, and when they came in contact with the Indian spiritual culture, when came in contact with the great history, India was great in all the respect. And Swami Vivekananda said, India will become so great that its past glory will fade into insignificance. Past glory, what a glory it was. In every field, India was on the top of the world. Economic development, it was called Sone ki Chidiya. Top of the world. The whole economy of the world was guided by Indian economy at that time. Sculpture, architecture, medicine, surgery, science, physics, chemistry, biology, every field, algebra, all this technology, music, storytelling, games, sports. Tell me one field where India was not on the top of the world. But then what happened? There was an attack from the outside, and why this attack came? Because we became weak. So Swami Vivekananda said, first we become physically strong. Because we were physically weak, so we were conquered. And once that conquest from the foreign countries, foreign people came, then we went on down, down and down. So now again, now that we have become independent, we must become strong, physically strong, mentally strong, intellectually strong, spiritually strong. We must become strong and then go forward. Remember our true nature, remember our history, remember our past glory, but that is not enough. First we remember the past glory, but that is not enough. Then we work hard and achieve glorious, more glorious future. Only remaining in past is of no use, but we must remember it, of course, but don't stop there. Then we work hard and try to bring about the golden future. So, in a nutshell, my reply would be the only method by which we can bring about this love for the nation is by reading the books of Swami Vivekananda. Once you read the books of Swami Vivekananda, you cannot but remain self-centered, and you will stop being self-centered. You will start loving the country. When the love for the country will come, automatically your self-centeredness will go away. So start reading the books of Swami Vivekananda, my solution.
Thank you, Swamiji. The next question is from Kostab Bhattacharya. He asks, how can a student serve from his or her own area?
Please repeat.
He asks, how can a student serve from his or her own area?
Yes, very good. Now, first of all, you must remember that the service should start, the charity begins at home. So you start, first of all, try to find out the problems of your area. And charity begins at home. First of all, you try to serve your parents. Try to serve your brothers and sisters. Try to serve the child of the maid servant that is coming to every house, in your house. Try to serve the people who are around you. Charity begins at home. Then you try to serve of your village, or of your area, of your if you are living in a city, then of your area. Try to find out their problems. First of all, identify the problems. What are the problems they are facing? Then try to find out the solution. But for all that, what you need is sacrifice. First of all, you must be ready to work hard and to forego something. You will have to forego your comfort. You will have to forego your money, maybe. Something sacrifice. So Swami Vivekananda said, renunciation and sacrifice, these are the twin ideals of India. If you have these twin ideals, then that is not enough. Then intelligently try to know the problems of the local problems of your area. Then try to find out the solution and then try to apply it. These are the three methods, 3 steps. Number 1, try to identify the problems. Number 2, try to find out the solutions. Number 3, start implementing the solution. These are the 3 methods.
Maharajji, the next question from Swarnali. I think you have already answered this question in the course of your lecture. She asks, please suggest some books by Swami Vivekananda which the youth must read. I have Raja Yoga book by Swami Vivekananda. I would like to read other books too. So if you please mention some books.
Yes. So already you are reading Raja Yoga. Very good. Read the other 3 yogas. That is Bhakti Yoga, Jnana Yoga and Karma Yoga. These are the 3 other books you should read. Then read the letters of Swami Vivekananda. Then read My India, the India Eternal. Then Swami Vivekananda, the friend of all. And lastly, the smallest book, Thoughts of Power. If you read these books, that will give you not only the clue to your character building but also to the national development, along with that character development.